Hi everybody, I'm Psychic Profiler Robbie Thomas, and what you're about to watch are some of the endorsements from law enforcement I've had the opportunity to work with over the years, and this is what they have to say.
Hello, my name is Andy DeLay. I'm a law enforcement officer in Pinellas County, Florida. My interaction with Robbie Thomas has been positive from the get-go. He soon came to London, Kentucky, where Robbie went to the scene with me and the family, and he used his talents to accurately put together what had happened in this fire. In fact, that it had happened by the men being robbed, beaten, and the home set on fire. Now, I definitely understand Robbie has these gifts given to him. I conducted my investigation with all my years of law enforcement experience, and it was done to law enforcement protocol. We found, in the end, that the person who Robbie felt through his gifts had committed this, or one of them that committed this, did give a deathbed confession about this. In the end, closure was made due to Robbie's gifts. The family was able to move forward. I was able to feel good and knowing that a crime was solved. I thank you, Robbie Thomas, for your gifts and the fact that you use your gifts to help not only law enforcement but victims of these crimes when law enforcement comes to a dead end. Now, there's something that I've told Robbie, and I want everyone looking at this to know. Robbie to law enforcement is just like a drug dog. And you may think that that's not so nice, but it's actually a big compliment. We use canines to find drugs and illegal substances inside of houses and cars and to find people. Thank God we have them. Robbie has a gift from God that is just like a canine. We use his gift to find that little bit of evidence that we need to make closure to heinous crimes and to make the victims feel better about everything, and they can move on with their life with closure, knowing that those that they love did not die without justice being served.
Cliff Christ. I am a former Texas police sergeant with over 25 years of law enforcement experience. I was contacted some years ago by Robbie Thomas to assist in the location of Paige Bergefeld. I found that all of Robbie Thomas's predictions and things that he saw during remote viewing to be factual. It was our job to attempt to locate the things that he had saw. Robbie was positive that the suspect in the murder was Lester Jones and predicted many things about Mr. Jones that have come true at this time. The area where Paige Bergefeld was, her remains were found. He had drawn pictures of the area. We searched up to that area. After the victim's remains were found, we did realize that we were less than a quarter mile from that location during our initial search. We did match some of the pictures that Robbie Thomas had drawn of the area to include signs pointing towards a horse farm, and they did match exactly. Personally, in all my years of law enforcement and investigative experience, I have never encountered a person that could be so spot on with all the information that he had given us unless they were originally a suspect in this case. And of course, Mr. Thomas was nowhere near that location, so he couldn't have possibly known some of the things that he had given us. So I do feel that his abilities are 100% truthful and 100% way above bar as far as any other psychic remote viewer that I have ever dealt with before.
I'm Martha Hazard Decker. I'm retired Assistant Chief of Police and Lead Investigator. During my time with East Texas Town, I specialized in crimes against children. I specialized in the Patriot or Sovereign Citizen. I worked with state and federal agencies in that capacity. I even did some undercover work. I was a negotiator. I was also an instructor. Actually, I still am an instructor. And from there, I went to work for the state as a child death investigator or special investigator, if you want to use that term. I attended autopsies. I visited perpetrators or alleged perpetrators for interviewing purposes in prison, in state jail, in county jails, just wherever I needed to go, plus a host of other things. And during the time that I've known Robbie, I've worked with him. I've assisted him on several cases. If he has law enforcement questions, he'll ask me. If I have any questions, I ask him. We've also worked on several cases together, including most recently is this year. I've talked to him at length with one of my unsolved cases, and we've talked about a lot of other things. I respect Robbie. He does a great job at what he does, and I would love to, and I've always wanted to work with Robbie on many things other than what we've already worked on together.
Now, Robbie, you each time that you come on, we always talk about some of the cases that you're working on with the police, and the case that was going on down here called the Baseline Killer was actually the Baseline Killers. One of them turned state's evidence and our state's witness and testified against the other. But before they were caught, you were on this show and you described for us what the police would find. And you said it's not one, it's two. It's a younger guy and an older guy, and they've already talked to them. And they will go back to them as suspects, and they're the ones that did it. And you told us some other details, and all of that within a few days, maybe a week or two. It all hit the news here. The arrest was made, and it was exactly as you had described it, and it was just amazing. Well, the trial is over now, and the chief suspect has been convicted. The other one pled guilty to a lesser charge and turned state's evidence, or state's witness. And this one has been convicted. And it was really chilling because it all played out exactly as you told us before it happened. And you do this with other law enforcement agencies all around the world. Are you working?
Hey everybody, my name is Robert Bulk. Currently I'm a paranormal investigator. I have past law enforcement experience, including being a bodyguard and working for many security companies, as well as the Federal Bureau of Investigation in the early 80s. Anyhow, there's the law enforcement, the way they do things, not much has changed in those from the time I was in until now. And I can tell you there is one thing that has changed, and that's that they have an extra tool now, and that is Robbie Thomas. Robbie Thomas is the new tool of the law enforcement for this era. Let me tell you guys, there's nobody like this guy. No one is like this person. This guy takes 100% of his heart, time, money, and effort. It includes his family in every little detail and every move that he makes. When he's dealing with investigations, he puts his personal self into it 180%. This guy is totally different than any other clairvoyance that you'll ever see. He's directed to one task and one task only, and that's finding these guys that hunt down innocent children and people and kill them and hurt them. This guy is truly an angel sent from heaven. I endorse him 100%.